Welcome back to the kayak, back in the Bay Area. Got everything fixed up, got my fish finder working, my motor working. The motor was really never an issue, it was just a simple swap out of the cord. I never really put that on film, those kind of things, but if you guys have any questions, and you guys out there who have Old Town, especially with the autopilot, you know, I feel like I've used this thing enough where any potential issues that you might come across, I've probably experienced it as well. So yeah, anyways, if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them. But we're out here looking for salmon. It's been a while since I caught a salmon. I don't remember the last one that I caught. I think it's been at least a month or two, but yeah, it's been a little while. Looking forward to getting back out here. Hoping we can make it happen today. Season's coming to a close here pretty soon. I think we got about 2 weeks left in the season. My hope is to catch at least one before the season ends, and if that's going to happen, I'm going to have to do it pretty soon. So we got a foggy morning, a little bit later than I hoped to get out, but we're getting out nonetheless. And yeah, let's go catch salmon. Well, if you're familiar with this area that I'm fishing right now, basically the deal here is right in this harbor they actually release little smolts from the hatchery, salmon smolts. And if you know anything about salmon, well, eventually once they go out in the ocean, do their thing, eventually they go up into the river, in the same river that they were born, and that's where they end up spawning. But unfortunately for these hatchery salmon, they come here looking for the river where they came out of, and unfortunately there's no river. So all these fish either get caught by fishermen like you and me, or get eaten by other wildlife, mostly seals, I would guess. But anyways, because of that, I'm going to start trolling as soon as I get out of the harbor here, because, well, even inside the harbor here, I could probably potentially catch one, I would assume. But definitely once you exit the harbor, you're already in possible fishing territory. So right now, I'm just going to go ahead and drop it back. This is the #1 rule I'm breaking, putting my line in before my net is ready. But hopefully it doesn't come back to haunt me today. Downrigger fluid. Coming out of the harbor as we speak. I heard on the radio as I was coming out, some people are catching fish already, so any minute now we could hook up. Alright, little update. Just gonna take a break here. Chasing some birds for a little while. Ton of bait in the water, but I haven't been able to hook up at all. I think I marked some fish on the fish finder. They look like salmon marks. There's no way to tell really for sure, but signs are looking good. There's definitely bait around. I think there's some fish around. Just gotta get one to bite, so that's where we're at so far. Been trolling for about 2 hours now without any hits yet, but not giving up yet. Definitely something bigger. Yeah, I think it's salmon. Yeah. Just made a critical change. Show you guys here in a second, but I want to focus on landing this fish. puppy. Gotta keep the pressure. Like you guys have heard me say many a times, barbless hooks, pressure is key. I'm at the swivel. I can see him. Definitely a keeper. Stay down. No, stay down. No. Almost there, almost ready. Not quite though. Here it comes. Here it comes. Nope, not yet. Not yet. Oh man, we're so close. We're so close. Alright. Doing the right turn. Nope. Not quite. Here we go. Lift. So close. There we go. There we go. Got him. Got him. Whew. Oh. Yeah. Alright. Oh, critical change there. Critical change. We'll show you guys here in a second, but just want to get him on the stringer first. Got him on the stringer. Now, this is the part where I show you how easy that hook can come out, just like that. And this is the critical change right here. Literally, I think like less than 5 minutes before that fish hit, I tied this lure on right here. This is a watermelon apex. The whole morning, I was trolling my crippled anchovy, which you've seen many times. I think every fish I've caught so far this season was on this crippled anchovy with the watermelon flasher in front, but switched it up, just had a hunch, and paid off. This fish a measure. Not huge, but also not a dink either. Probably around 28, 29 inches. No, never mind. 25 inches. Not a huge one, obviously, but still nice quality salmon. So like I was saying at the beginning of this video, these fish, they get released here, and then eventually at the end when they're looking for that river, they come back to this area. And I don't know if you can tell in the video or not, but certainly you can tell in person this fish is starting to get a little bit dark, and obviously nowhere near what they look like when you catch them, like, you know, up in the rivers when they're spawning, but I can just tell he's not quite as chrome as those fish that I was catching earlier in the season. Starting to get a little bit dark, especially, you know, on the belly here, but you know, he's still in the ocean, still gonna cut really well. I'm sure he'll be nice and deep orange. One common misconception, then I actually didn't know this at the beginning either, but some people think that if it has this fin that it's a wild fish, and actually I learned that in the hatcheries they only clip, I think it's like 25% or something, a portion of the fish are clipped. So even though it's got that fin, doesn't necessarily mean it's a wild fish. I would put my money on this being a hatchery fish as it ending up here towards the end of its life cycle. But yeah, black gums, king, keeper king. This is my 14th keeper from the kayak this season. Another thing I started to do when I'm bleeding the fish, just to make it just a little bit better, is actually hold the fish upside down when it's bleeding. I used to just kind of throw them over the end on this clip and they would just sit like that in the water. And yeah, that'll work pretty well. Definitely gonna get most of the blood out. But if I hold it upside down, you can kind of see a little more is dripping out there. And that's just, you know, gravity doing its work. All of the blood's flowing to the head of the fish, which is where you cut the gills there. Also makes me feel a little more secure if a sea lion were to come around and grab it. He'd probably rip it right out of my hands, but you know, it just feels like maybe I could have a chance to keep my fish. So actually, the reason I tied this on, I don't tie it on very often. It works, you know, all throughout the season. I don't really know why, but fish will hit this. Basically, I feel like a salmon. If it's hungry enough, it's gonna hit anything shiny. But one thing that I've noticed is towards the end of the season, I find that the apex starts to work a little bit better than it did at the beginning. And maybe that's just me. I don't know if I don't have any data behind it, but I feel like it's more of a reaction strike, which is like, if you think about it, when you're fishing for salmon in the river, a lot of people use spinners, you know, other flashy lures. I feel like these fish are kind of starting to think about finishing, you know, they're not really worried about eating too much now. So in that case, we gotta get that reaction strike, which is why I tied on the apex. So anyways, we'll tie it back on. Maybe we can get a limit here, maybe not, but we're gonna try. It's definitely a grind here, late season, but just like what I was saying when we're coming out, we're gonna troll all the way back in because these fish could be hanging out right outside the harbor, so you never know. Keep our lines in here. We'll see. Maybe we'll get lucky in this last couple minutes, but if not, we'll see you guys back on land. Alright. Not today. No limit today. Wanted to show Nick how to get a limit, but we're gonna have to just settle for one. Alright, that's a wrap. Definitely tough fishing now that the season is coming to a close, so happy I could still get one. Hopefully it's not my last one of the season, but it might be. Being that we only have a couple weeks left here, we'll see if I can manage to get another one before the closing date comes. In conclusion, don't be afraid to change up your lures. Even if the one's working, that crippled anchovy's been working for me all season. I caught plenty of salmon on it, but today I don't think I would have caught any if I didn't switch up to that apex right at that last minute. So anyways, yeah, I'll leave a link to that apex in the description if you guys want to check it out. Definitely, I think it's the top lure that I use other than the crippled anchovy. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one.